The old Latin doctors in the Roman Empire had a very precise definition of what a medical doctor should be like. They used very few words. I will say that in English and then in Latin. A medical doctor should be a good man or woman, good in the sense of moral goodness, a good man, skilled in healing, curing. Vir bonus peritus curandi. 4 words. Vir bonus peritus curandi. A good man skilled in healing. I find it striking that many centuries ago, the moral requirement, character, as Lindsay said in his last prayer this morning, character precedes skill. So if you want to be really skilled as a doctor, skilled in healing, peritus curandi, first you need to be a good man, a good woman, a good as a person. Professional competency goes linked, inseparably linked to moral and spiritual competency. And this is the main idea I want to develop this morning. So I will ask you not to forget that small Latin sentence, a good person skilled in healing. Who we are greatly determines what we do and how we work. Character and convictions, beliefs, determine the way we live. What we believe will greatly influence how we live and therefore work. Now, first of all, let me give a word of context, a background. Let's consider the background of this subject, developing competencies, a spiritual competency. The ultimate goal in life, as well as in our work, is not to be successful, but to be fruitful. The ultimate goal in life, and therefore in our work, is not to be successful, but to be fruitful. John chapter 15, verse 16. John 15:16. Striking words of Jesus that summarize powerfully the scope of our life and profession. I chose you to go and bear fruit. What kind of fruit? A fruit that will last. A fruit that will remain. Let's consider briefly the differences between being successful and being fruitful. To be successful is basically related to our doing. To be fruitful is basically related to our character, to our being. And we need to recapture, to regain the value of being in a society that is totally obsessed with doing, hyperactivity. To be successful is related to achievements, honors, degrees, titles. To be fruitful is related to virtues, convictions, character traits. To be successful is ephemeral. At the best, it diminishes when you are 65 and then you retire, and sometimes it lingers longer, but it is ephemeral, transient, short-term. Fruitful, to be fruitful, as Jesus said, lasts forever. for eternity. 1 Corinthians chapter 3. Your work will not be destroyed, but will be kept forever. Finally, to be successful leads to human glory. To be famous, reputation, human glory. To be fruitful leads to be praised primarily by Christ and God. Good and faithful servant, you have done faithfully and rightly. And also to be praised and loved by our brothers and sisters in our community, in our church. Remember the case of Epaphroditus, Philippians chapter 2, verse 29. Honor men like him. Welcome him when he visits you and honor him. Honor, welcome by our brothers and sisters, and primarily by God. If we really want to develop spiritual competency, our primary goal is to be fruitful. And we have to forget about being successful. Sometimes success, in the human sense, comes as you are fruitful. But this is not the goal. This is a byproduct, a secondary effect. Like when you take a drug, it has some secondary effects, but that's not the goal, that's not the purpose of the treatment. They are just side effects. Success is a side effect, not the goal of our life. To be fruitful, I chose you to go and bear fruit that will last forever. I think after this introduction, this word of introduction, we are ready now to consider our topic this morning, the role of virtues in medical practice. I was given a title, Developing Spiritual Competencies, and a subtitle. The subtitle, I like it very much. It's very precise. By the way, I congratulate again those who have organized the program. It's very well thought. The role of virtues in medical practice. I like that very much. The role of virtues in medical practice. What a contrast of this subtitle with the CanMed's Physician's Competency Framework that our sister referred to. Are you acquainted with the CanMed's Physician's Competency Framework? It says there are 7 roles. Notice the emphasis on roles that medicine, secular medicine, stresses a lot. 7 roles a doctor must fulfill. I would just read them. It's the perfect doctor. It's impossible to fulfill all of them, but this is what is required from us. The 7 roles that all physicians need to have, quote literally. 7 roles. Medical expert, communicator, collaborator, manager, health advocate, scholar, and professional. I will repeat that. Medical expert, he must be a communicator, he must be a collaborator, he must be a manager, he must be a health advocate, he must be a scholar, he must be a professional. Roles. And roles are primarily related to doing. I think it's very, very difficult to find a medical doctor who fulfills the 7 roles, but this is another topic. The emphasis is on roles and doing. This is what is expected and required to be a good doctor. Our topic this morning is on virtues. The role of virtues in medical practice. We're going to consider this morning 3 points. I'm not sure I will be able to cover the 3 of them, but I will try to do my best. First of all, our framework, the biblical portrait, our point of reference. Secondly, after we consider our framework, we will consider our models, some living examples. Some individuals whose lives stimulate us. And finally, we will consider our resources. The supernatural endowment that enables us. Human models stimulate us. Supernatural endowment enables us. Because we are considering, as we deal with spiritual competency, we are dealing with something that is not possible from a human viewpoint. It is impossible. We need supernatural endowment. So, first of all, let's consider our framework, the biblical portrait. The Bible is always our point of reference, our ultimate authority in terms of being and doing, character and behavior, ethics should always be submitted to the authority of the Bible. So the first question, obviously, this morning for us to ask is, what does the Bible say about spiritual competencies, and how can we apply it to doctors? I have chosen a text which is not very well known, unfortunately. It's in one of the pastoral epistles, 2 Peter. 2 Peter chapter 1 contains a treasure, a mine. From verses 3 to 15. I will just concentrate on verses 5 to 9, because here we find the 7 virtues that are the evidence of spiritual competency. 7 virtues that are the evidence of our spiritual competency. Let's go to 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 5. For this very reason, make every effort to add or to supply to your faith goodness, and to goodness knowledge, and to knowledge self-control, and to self-control perseverance or patience, and to perseverance godliness, and to godliness brotherly love, and to brotherly love or kindness love. For if you possess these qualities or virtues in increasing measure, they will keep you from being ineffective and unproductive in your knowledge of our Lord Jesus Christ. This is pure gold. Pure gold regarding spiritual competency. They are the evidences that we are competent as Christians and as Christian doctors. How do we measure our spiritual competency? Test it. There is a test. There is a test for everything in medicine, almost for everything. We have also here a test to measure our spiritual competency. Verses 5 to 9. Notice they are progressive and interdependent. It's like a ladder that you climb up. They are progressive and interdependent. And they are structured like the building that is being built. It's like building a house. Virtues, the development of a spiritual competency, is like building a house. What do you do? First, when you build a house, what do you put first? Not the roof, you put the foundation. The foundation is faith. Faith is the first one. Without faith, there is no spiritual competency. This is why there is a radical difference between the 7 roles of the Can-Meds physicians framework and the spiritual competency we're talking this morning. All evidence of spiritual competence springs from faith.